It's time to make delicious prime rib. There's nothing better in the holiday season. That's right, we're in the middle of the holiday season to make delicious prime rib. It is, in my opinion, the best Christmas gift you can give to your family. Today, we're gonna go over a few things on how to smoke it properly. All right, what does rest time really do? All right, does it bring it up 5 degrees, 10 degrees? Let's get a handle on that. We're gonna do a lot of experiments throughout this cook so you can get a handle on how you wanna prepare your delicious prime rib dinner. An important item to note, I have a favorite rub I've found. Now, you might have a favorite rub and you put it on everything. Both of these rubs have knocked it out of the park when it comes to using it with beef. However, my family's had this rub 3 of the last 4 steaks they've had, and they've had Neil's rub a bunch of times also. So, I just want to switch it up with pepper, using a peppermint mill, and just regular kosher diamond crystal salt. This way, it keeps the variety for my family or whoever you're entertaining. If the last couple meals you've served, you used delicious rubs that you love and come partial to, it's important to go back to the basics with salt and pepper to bring out that flavor profile, just to switch it up. And in this case, it's my family, and I wanna make sure they have the best eating experience, and that is variety. I like this peppermint because you can check when you start grinding it up to see the size of the pepper you're working with. And what I'm trying to work with, I know it's hard to see there, I'm trying to get the pepper at a thicker consistency, a more granular, or not as fine, dusty. I want it to pop off the meat, so I want chunks. I don't want to break it all the way down. This peppermint allows me to test out what I'm creating, so I'm not just pouring it all over a really fine dusting of pepper. And in this case, I want those coarse peppers to really shine and help bring the flavor when they bite into it. Real quick, let's talk about resting your meat. All right, you're always supposed to do it, right? Do I do it for 10 minutes, 15, 20, 30? I finally wanted to know what actually happens to my internal temperature when I do this. So I kept the thermometer in there, and after 15 minutes, you can see that it went from 130 to 135. I took it another 15 minutes, and I want to see, will that take it up that 10 degrees of overcook that everybody says you'll get? Well, it turns out it only went up another degree. All right. Then I took it a step further, and I wanted to know what happens when I finish off my cook to the internal temperature. Does it go up when I'm trying to get that dark sear on my cut, or does it stay the same? What happened there is when I finished this off in the oven at 500 degrees, the temperature of the internal center of the beef actually dropped down a degree because I only had it in the oven for 10 minutes. So these were questions I wanted to know the answers to, and now I have a better understanding. Let's talk about finishing off our cut of beef. We had it low and slow, relatively low and slow, for this entire cook. So there wasn't a lot of char, and I wasn't trying to get char on this prime rib. However, I do want that final finish where people bite into it and they're impressed with that nice caramelization of the fats and the salt and pepper all mingling together. So there's a couple different ways you can finish this off. You can go crank up your firebox and you can get your fire pit super hot. All right, it was dark out, it was cold, I didn't want to do that. You can put a grate over your firebox and do a direct sear on hot charcoals right over it, and you can flip it just like you would a steak. 1 minute per side, 2 minutes per side, and get that char on it. I wanted to go the simplest way, and that was right in my oven where I had some lighting in my kitchen and I could see what I was working with. So I just decided, like I said, there's a bunch of different ways you can do this, but keep it simple, keep what's comfortable with you. I cranked my oven up to 500 degrees. That was easy, and it was gonna produce the finish I wanted. So that worked out perfect. This was the best prime rib I've ever made. Now I can tell you right off the bat, was I a little disappointed that it wasn't perfectly pink from edge to edge? Absolutely. I think when you get that at a restaurant, it's just perfection, where it's completely pink to pink throughout the entire thing. I can get that only in a sous vide. I've never been able to get that in an oven, on my smoker. So I just knew going forward, I wasn't going to be completely happy with the appearance of the meat. But I wanted deep smoke flavors. And did I get it? It had just the right amount of smoke. It didn't overpower it, but it provided that punch of, wow, this is fantastic. My wife, right before we started the cook, she's like, oh, you're doing prime rib? I'm not, I could care less about prime rib. It's just not her cut. She doesn't like it. I brought this thing out from the smoker and she could just smell the aromas in the air. And she was like, maybe I will have a slice. Well, lo and behold, as I was cutting it up and trying it out, she thought it was the best prime rib she ever had. So the trade-off of not having it, to me, perfect appearance of pink all the way through was well worth it, because we had those deep smoke flavors that really took this prime rib to the next level. A few more quick notes about this cook. I took it to 130. I like to have my food on the rare side, but At 130 and the rest time, the carryover cooked to 135, we're right at that medium rare. And that to me changes the meat texture over just a little bit. It makes it easier than a rare cook to chew, which I do love, bright red, a real rare prime rib. However, most of your guests are going to be intimidated by that. So going to that 130 mark and cutting off the temperature worked for me, all right? Everybody's a little different, but everybody in my household, they didn't want it any more rare than that. So this is what I would do if I was serving company, because most people are intimidated by rare meat. So 130 really worked out well for me. Finishing up the notes on this cook, it was not as intimidating as you might think. All right, what are the fundamentals? All right, with all your cooks, I need wood, I need smoke, and I need my meat. That's it. All right, you keep it basic, you write down a game plan. Yes, I use my journal, and that helped. I have notes for my next cook when I want to tackle this again. Could I have done crazy things to this? Could I have added, different herbs and spices and just gone nuts? Absolutely. I wanted the smoke to speak for this cut of beef. So I didn't want to overpower it with too many rubs and spices. I wanted to keep it simple and let that hickory really produce and be the focus of what people were biting into. So that worked out great. You guys, you know the drill. Smash that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button to make sure you get the latest videos. And while you're at it, check out comparisonscooking.com, because that journal is gonna help you have a Merry Christmas when you're feeding everybody and they're just absolutely loving the dishes you're producing. You guys, as always, happy holidays, and I will see you soon.